We're live, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Good evening and welcome to this extraordinary meeting of the Council held on Tuesday the 28th of May 2024. My name is Councillor Kevin Lagan and I am the Chairperson of the Council. Members, we are streaming this meeting live as well as recording, and by being present in the meeting you're giving your consent to being recorded. During each item, please put your hand up to indicate if you wish to speak. I will then invite you at the appropriate time. Could I ask members to avoid approaching the top table as it could create interference with the cameras and the live stream. Please note that the YouTube live stream sound recording is dependent on the correct use of microphones. Therefore, can I ask that when you're invited to speak, you remember to turn on your microphone and turn it off when finished so the red light goes off. Please reference a page or paragraph number when referring to an agenda paper and keep your contributions as clear and concise as needed. Agenda item 2, apologies for absence. Tara, could we please have apologies for absence?
Thank you, Chairman. Apologies been received from Councillor Jennings and Councillor Pratt. Thank you, Chairman.
That's lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Agenda item 3, which is disclosure of interest. This is to disclose the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interests and non-registrable interests relating to items of business on the agenda, having regard to paragraph 9 and appendix B of the Code of Conduct for Members. Members are also reminded that they also need to required to disclose any such interest as soon as it becomes available, should the need arise throughout the meeting. Agenda item 4, which is public questions. I can advise that we have not received any requests for public speaking at this meeting. On to agenda item 5, which is Chairman's announcements. The only announcement I've got is just to say how Ride London came through Maldon in the district this week, and what a fantastic advertisement it was for the town of Maldon. We seem to bring the weather, the happiness and the joy. The organisers were blown away by what the people of Maldon and the district have done. So I just wanted to say well done and thank you to all involved. So yeah, so it's a wonderful event and I'm looking forward to next year. We move to agenda item 6, which is questions in accordance with procedural 6.3, of which notice has been given, and I can advise that we have not received any questions. We move to agenda item 7, which is found on pages 5 to 22. Members, you're drawn to the supplementary paper circulated today. This is to do with the 5-year housing and land supply, and I have Miss Altoff Shawland, Head of Service Planning and Policy and Implementation to deliver the report.
Good evening, members.
Good evening, thank you.
This is just a paper asking members to endorse the 5-year housing land supply for this year, which is come out at 6.3 years, and if it's endorsed, we will publish that on our website.
Thank you. Members, any questions before we move to the recommendations? No. Yeah, Councillor Morgan, thank you.
Yeah, just how long or how is this particular figure valid for?
Thank you.
How long is it valid for? It's valid for a year.
Starting today?
That's the question.
A year starting today?
Yes, well, as soon as we publish it.
Thanks.
Thank you. No members, no other questions before we move to the recommendations. We have 2 recommendations. Recommendation little 1 is that the briefing paper appended to this report at Appendix 1 and its accompanying spreadsheets Appendix A be endorsed as providing robust evidence that the Council can demonstrate a supply of specific deliverable sites and sufficient sites to provide for 6.3 years worth of housing against the Council's identified housing requirements. And little 2, that the 5-year housing land supply position be approved and publishes on the Council's website. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Morgan. Members, do we take that by assent? We go. Councillor Stamp, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Can I just ask a question on page 13, 1.8? And I'd just like to say, I'd like to ask, when will our LDP review be coming to council, or will members be getting an update on the 5-year land supply? I know it's been agreed this time, but a lot of members have not been informed because of the working group has done an excellent job. But it would be nice if members actually had a briefing, which I've been asking for, and I spoke to the leader and he said he would take on board with Councillor Driver the other day because I've raised it. I don't think members are getting enough information at the appropriate time for us to make a decision. I don't have a problem with agreeing this, but I think members need to be more included all the way along the processes of this. Because when you read the report, it has changed. The methodology has changed to what was agreed 2 years ago or whenever it was. Forgive me if I've got the wrong dates wrong, because we've now had to go alongside the MPPF, which is what the report explains. But some people may not understand it to that level of detail, because it's a very complicated situation working out the 5-year land supply. And I'd like to commend the working group for actually taking on board what members have been saying for quite some time regarding our 5-year land supply, because it has been quite challenging at some stages, and what to include and what not to include. So I'd like to thank them. Thank you.
Before we come to Councillor Fluker, Ms Ortosh-Shawland, have you anything to say regarding Councillor Stamp?
We'll be having a briefing with members shortly.
Do we have a more defined time than shortly?
No, not yet, because we do have to have discussions with the working group and agree that first.
Okay, so when the working group meets, I think it's on the 11th? Yes. Yeah, on the 11th, I think then the working group, we can take it back at that point in time and then get a commitment when we can actually come through and brief all members. Can I come back to that? Surely now it's been raised, it could be penciled into an agenda meeting or to something that's coming to full council at another meeting after the election or whenever it's suitable. It has been raised, surely it can be programmed in. Councillor Morgan's just said from the 11th or when you're all meeting again. It's not difficult to programme something like that in, or any briefing, to either do an informal briefing or it comes to council, whichever the working group decides. We'll do that.
So,
Leader.
I totally agree with Councillor Stamp, and we have talked about it. As the working group and the plan is moving forward, we are now getting more policies defined. I think it's really important that those are presented to members as we work through, and we give updates on, when it's appropriate. I think that's the key thing. But yeah, if members feel they need some information in terms of where the project is, we need to schedule that within the next couple of months. Yeah, absolutely. Councillor Fluker.
Yeah, thank you. I concur with the comments of Councillor Stamp with regards to the hard work of the working group. Chairman, I raised this question with the officer at the last working group meeting, asking that members are briefed. And the response I got was that members can read the notes from the working group. Now, Chairman, since the strategically assessed number has dropped so dramatically, there has now been a suggestion, and I choose my words carefully, there's been a suggestion as to where those houses should go. That is incredibly important, particularly so regards education. And it's for that reason, Chairman, I support what Councillor Stamp is saying about members having a formal briefing. But of course that can be brought forward very, very quickly, Chairman. If anybody was to support my proposal, Chairman, that we do actually have a report come back to this committee, and based on what I just said, I think it should, I beg your pardon, to council, and based on what I said, I think it should be in private and confidential. And that way, Chairman, it's going to save an awful lot of time, because before we go back to my friend's working group, there'll be another delay probably, and by the time we get to council, it'll be the council after next, Chairman. So that's my proposal. I personally think, having been intrinsically involved in the review last time, that we do this and we do it very, very quickly to keep all members updated. Thank you.
I think if I can respond on that, because I was chair of the Planning Policy Working Group, I think that's been confirmed that we're going to be looking at actually doing that. The leaders confirmed that. I know we've spoken with officers that that's going to happen, so we've asked for it, so that will happen. So I think the most timely and logical way would be wait until the new working group meets on the 11th, and then we get a date out as soon as possible, because there's logistics to look forward to from that as well. So we can do exactly what members said, because we all need to contribute into this and all need to be brought up to speed on the work that's been done.
Briefly, so correct me if I'm wrong, but that would mean if we go to the working group on the date you said, it would, I think, if the programme in my mind is correct, unlikely that it would come to the July meeting. of council, which means if we're not meeting in August, then it could be September. And I really do think, Chairman, I really do think it's very important that members understand what's in the background of some of the decisions that are being made by officers. Thank you.
No, there'll be, as far as I understand it, there will be a briefing that we can organise for all members, irrespective of that timescale. We need it sooner rather than later, out of courtesy to members, to give you the work that's been done. Well, no, it's not, because of what it is. It's a summary of work that's been undertaken to date, work that's outstanding and work still to do. So I think that's what I would be looking for. So if that's okay with members, we'll do that. Thank you for your questions, and we'll move on. So we had that agreed by assent. Councillor Stamp, did you want your points noted as dissent or?
No, I agree with it. I would like it minuted, the points I've raised, because sometimes things get missed, and I think it's important we all are included in this. If policies are being written, I mean, I don't know when the LDP is due to be published now. I've not got any idea what's happening. And to be honest with you, Chairman, I do follow a great deal, and I feel sorry for the members that they're feeling they're going to be left behind, because it's going to come to council, and then people are going to get the ump and say, you know, they'll vote things down. You have to take members with you when you're doing something as great as this. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Just come back.
Last time.
You didn't. Thank you, Chairman. Hopefully not for the whole evening.
I don't know.
Chairman, I did make a proposal to council. You didn't ask anybody to second it, and I suspect no one's keen to. I don't know why, but I would like it recorded in the minutes. My proposal.
Tara, those two points that both members have made, can we record those, please? Thank you. So members agreed by assent. Yep. Thank you kindly. Good comments, thank you. So we move to agenda item 8, which is the 2024-25 schedule of meetings. We move to agenda 8. It's a schedule of meetings found on page 2. This is to move a recommendation that the PG&A and Audit Committee, due to unavailability of the chairperson of the Performance Governance Audit Committee on the 20th of June 2024, it's requested that the date is changed to Tuesday the 18th of June 2024. I so move. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Stamp. Is that agreed, members, please? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you. So we move to agenda items 9, which is questions to the Leader of the Council in accordance with Procedure Rule 13M. I have Councillor White. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually raised some questions at the last full council meeting, and the leader told me that he would get back to me with a response, but I haven't had one yet. And a summary of those questions was, should all trees be protected in the district? And are nesting birds important? And I also have another question to raise. Does the leader agree with me that protected characteristics, namely disabilities, does he agree that they should never be brought up in any council business whatsoever? Thank you.
Thank you, Leader.
I did raise those questions that you asked last time with officers, and I'm waiting for a response. But as I said last time, I agree completely with Councillor White's position. There should be no raising of protected characteristics. As someone who has one of those, I think it's very, very important that we show respect. And as being a member of the Equality, Diversity, Inclusivity group, which I know hasn't met that recently, again, those things are very important to me. And as someone who, through my life has had to deal with those things at different times, it is important that people's privacy is protected.
Thank you.
If I may come back, maybe I ought to have a meeting with the leader about protected characteristics and them being brought up in public. Thank you.
If Councillor White wants to give me wants to email me to discuss those things, I'm more than happy to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Councillor Fluker, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, it's some time since this council agreed not to go ahead with the affordable housing project in Haybridge. Chairman, you'll remember that I raised I beg your pardon, I'm speaking to the leader. Apologies. You'll remember that I brought forward a motion which is still being dealt with by the Over and Scrutiny Committee. Would would you agree with me, Leader, that it seems to be taking an awful long time for officers to prepare what they are calling a lessons learnt document? I've spoken to the chairman of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee today, Leader, and I can see him nodding in agreement. We really do need this. So, Chairman, Leader, will you agree with me and help me get sight of this much needed document? Thank you.
As Councillor Fluker knows, I'm not allowed to attend overview and scrutiny, so I can answer a question, of course. In terms of where that report is, I don't know, and I'm sure that the chairman and vice chairman of overview and scrutiny will take responsibility in ensuring that this item is reported in an appropriate and timely manner, and is dealt with in the right way, so that the overview and scrutiny committee can scrutinise how that project was developed. And I think we need to let that work take place.
Thank you. Councillor Morgan, questions to the Leader.
Yes, thank you, Chair. It's not a question, really, just to fill out some of the details that have already been brought forward. As you're already aware, I'm seeking to probably put forward an emergency general meeting of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee to consider the splash park, and that wish that to happen sooner than later. But it's my intention to also raise the matter of the lessons to be learnt report at that particular time. So hopefully we'll be able to bring this matter to a conclusion very rapidly. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Stamp.
Yeah, I have a question to the Leader. Would the Leader agree with me that everybody in the opposition groups, leaders, deputies and their members have worked extremely hard in the last municipal year, considering where we were a year ago? And I think the Leader should congratulate everybody who has moved on and worked tirelessly to put this council in a better place. Do you agree with me? Yes, love.
Thank you, Councillor Stamp. Yes, I do agree with you, and I think in terms of where the council is now, it's in a completely different place. It's a different organisation, it's a different culture, it's a different atmosphere, and I think we can feel that in here. And I really welcome the fact that the groups have worked together, and the non-aligned as well. That's the other crucial thing. The non-aligned have worked with us. So one of the things that I think we should all be proud of is the fact that we've done that, and we've worked together in the best interests of this council and the best interests of the district. And the longer that we can do that, and the more that we continue we do that, the better it is for all of us, the better it is for officers, and the better it is for our residents in the district.
I didn't mean to exclude the non-aligned. I put them with us because we're the naughty ones, and some of the non-aligned are quite naughty.
Okay, any other questions, members, please? Okay, we'll move past that agenda item. Thanks very much indeed for your questions. We move on to agenda item 10, which is any other items of business that the chairperson decides are urgent, and there are none. Agenda item 11, which is the exclusion of the public and press. I move that under section 100A4 of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the meeting for the following items of business on the grounds that they involve the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraphs 1, 2 and 3 from reports 3 of part 1 of schedule 12A of the Act, and this satisfies the public interest test. I so move. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Members, do you agree that by assent? Thank you.